There is a white powder that costs exactly $1 at any grocery store, and it eliminates foot odor and softens rough, cracked skin overnight, not masks it with fragrance, not temporarily covers it. It changes the environment inside your shoes and on your feet so completely that the bacteria causing odor cannot survive there anymore. Podiatrists have recommended this exact compound for foot care since the 1960s. Foot spas and premium foot care clinics charge up to $200 for treatments built almost entirely around this one ingredient. The global foot care industry generates over $8 billion annually selling sprays, powders, and creams that mask the problem temporarily and need repurchasing every few weeks. A $1 solution that actually changes the underlying condition is not something that industry wants you finding in your own kitchen cabinet. This is the story of the compound dermatologists have quietly recommended for 60 years, and the foot care industry that buried it under fragrance and packaging. Welcome to Vault Breaker. This is where we open every vault that billion-dollar industries paid to lock shut. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe and ring the bell right now, because what you're about to learn in the next 12 minutes might change how you think about every foot product you have ever purchased. In 1963, a podiatric researcher named Dr. Wallace Crane published a clinical paper examining the relationship between foot odor, skin pH, and bacterial growth on the skin of the feet. His findings were simple and uncomfortable for an industry built on fragrance products. Foot odor is caused almost entirely by bacteria that thrive in warm, moist, acidic environments, exactly the environment created inside a shoe after a full day of wear. Most commercial foot sprays and powders work by adding fragrance on top of that bacterial environment, essentially perfuming the problem rather than solving it. Dr. Crane documented that a simple alkaline mineral compound, when applied directly to clean, dry feet and dusted inside shoes overnight, raised the skin surface pH just enough to make the environment hostile to odor, causing bacteria, while simultaneously helping to soften and smooth rough, cracked, or calloused skin through its naturally exfoliating mineral structure. The compound he documented was baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, sold in every grocery store on Earth for about $1 a box. This was not a new discovery even in 1963. Ancient Egyptian medical papyri, dating back over 3,000 years, describe the use of natron, a naturally occurring alkaline mineral salt, harvested from dried lake beds, applied to the feet for cleansing and softening purposes. Roman bath culture incorporated alkaline mineral soaks specifically for foot care, with public bathhouses across the empire, offering foot basins treated with mineral salts before sandals were removed for extended barefoot walking on temple and palace floors. Traditional Chinese foot care manuscripts from multiple dynasties describe alkaline mineral powders used in foot basins as part of regular hygiene practice, particularly before long periods of walking in enclosed footwear. Every culture that dealt with the practical problem of foot odor and rough skin in enclosed shoes arrived at a similar conclusion through observation. An alkaline mineral compound applied directly to the skin changes the environment enough to solve the problem at its source rather than masking it. But here is what the modern foot care industry has spent 60 years making sure stayed buried under shelves of branded products. Stay with me, because the economics behind this are genuinely frustrating once you see them clearly. The global foot care product market generates over $8 billion annually. Antifungal adjacent to foot sprays, scented foot powders, odor-eliminating insoles, and specialty foot creams dominate pharmacy shelves, most priced between $8 and $20 per product, requiring repurchase every 4 to 6 weeks as the product is used up. Premium foot spa treatments at nail salons and dedicated foot care clinics charge between $60 and $200 per session for treatments that frequently include an alkaline mineral soak as a base component, dressed up with additional fragrant oils, exfoliating scrubs, and professional presentation. The active mechanism creating the actual benefit in many of these premium treatments is the same alkaline mineral principle Dr. Crane documented in 1963, available in your kitchen cabinet for roughly 4 cents per application. Think about every can of foot spray you have purchased that worked for a few hours before the odor returned. Think about every pair of shoes you have thrown away because the smell never fully went away no matter what you tried. Think about every awkward moment removing your shoes at a friend's home or during a yoga class. Think about the rough, cracked skin on your heels that lotion alone never seemed to fully soften. A $1 box of baking soda, used correctly and consistently, addresses the underlying bacterial environment and gently exfoliates rough skin, rather than simply adding a temporary layer of fragrance on top of an unsolved problem. If you have made it this far, you already know more about the actual science of foot odor than most people who have spent years cycling through expensive foot sprays. Subscribe and share this with someone who has given up on finding something that actually works. Now, stay with me, because what comes next is exactly how to use this tonight. Here's exactly what to do. Each evening, after washing your feet thoroughly with soap and water and drying them completely, moisture is the enemy here, so dry between every toe carefully. Dust a thin, even layer of plain baking soda over both feet, paying particular attention to the soles, the area between the toes, and any rough or calloused areas on the heels. Put on a clean pair of cotton socks and leave the baking soda on overnight while you sleep. In the morning, simply rinse your feet with warm water. You will notice the skin feels smoother almost immediately, as the gentle alkaline mineral structure has a mild exfoliating effect on rough surface skin overnight. For your shoes, specifically, which often hold onto odor independently of your feet, sprinkle a generous layer of baking soda directly into each shoe before bed, and shake it around so it coats the interior surfaces. Let it sit overnight to absorb moisture and neutralize the acidic environment where odor-causing bacteria thrive. In the morning, simply tap the shoes upside down over a trash can to remove the powder before wearing them. For particularly stubborn shoe odor, you can leave the baking soda inside small, breathable fabric pouches placed in your shoes between wears, allowing continuous odor absorption. For an enhanced overnight foot softening treatment once or twice a week, dissolve 3 tablespoons of baking soda in a basin of warm water and soak your feet for 15 to 20 minutes before bed. This softens calluses and rough patches significantly, making them much easier to gently smooth with a foot file or pumice stone afterward. Pat feet completely dry and apply a basic moisturizer to lock in softness. I want to be completely honest about what this approach is and is not. This is a foot odor and skin softening solution rooted in basic dermatological science about pH and bacterial environments. If you are dealing with a diagnosed fungal infection, persistent skin cracking that does not improve, or any concerning changes to your skin or nails, please see a podiatrist or dermatologist for proper diagnosis and treatment, because those situations deserve professional medical evaluation rather than a home remedy alone. What this baking soda routine does extremely well is address everyday foot odor and rough, dry skin, the 2 most common foot complaints that send people to expensive products and treatments year after year without ever addressing the underlying cause. A woman in Denver, Colorado began using this nightly baking soda routine in early 2023 after years of trying expensive foot sprays that provided only temporary relief. Within 1 week, she reported that the persistent odor she had dealt with for years had essentially disappeared, and within a month, the rough, cracked skin on her heels, something she had tried to address with various creams for over a year, had visibly smoothed. Her total monthly cost dropped from roughly $25 in foot sprays and creams to less than $1 in baking soda. Dr. Crane documented this simple mineral science in 1963. Egyptian medical texts described a version of the same principle 3,000 years before that. The foot care industry built an $8 billion market on fragrance and packaging wrapped around a $1 mineral that was sitting in plain sight the entire time. Tonight, before you go to bed, you can test this for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. If this video opens something for you, subscribe and share it with someone who has given up on finding a solution that actually works. The next vault opens soon, and what is buried inside it has been hidden even longer than this one.